Hi there, it's Cathy Cena with Tri-Cities Community TV. And before we get started, I'd like to thank the Coquitlam Library for donating this space to us today. And our guest today is Jay Peters. He is the Manager of Programming and Community Connections right here with the Coquitlam Public Library. Welcome to the program, Jay.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you.
Thanks.
I'd like you to start off by telling me all the different things that you do. And this title is quite big, Programming and Community Connections. What does that mean to you?
So Programming and Community Connections is kind of a double-headed title.
Yes.
So the programming side is all the programs that we run inside and outside of the library. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking computer programs.
No.
So things like story times, teen programming, we have lots of teen buddy programs, adult programming, speaker series. What else do we have for adults?
So all of that goes through you, and these are programs that the library puts on for the people in the community that are coming into the library, correct?
That's correct.
And when I came in, I saw some spring camp stuff that you guys are doing. So that falls all under your umbrella.
That's right.
Okay, all right. And you approve those programs, you talk to the people, you see if it's viable for the library to have that and it meets your mandates and things.
Yes.
And then you give it a check mark and it happens.
That's right.
Right. And what about the community connections?
The community connections is, we have a library book bus. We call it the Library Link. So it goes out into the community. It has a number of regular weekly stops, 6 days a week. So we're out in the community. That's the community connection. The other way in which we go regularly out into the community is with our home delivery service. So for people that are 60 years or have disabilities that prevent them from coming into the library, we can arrange to bring them materials at home. And we deliver weekly to people in the community. Monthly.
I didn't know that you delivered. That's great. And in terms of the community connections, I guess for me, I thought it's sort of like connections that we're making. Like we're Tri-Cities Community TV. You make a connection with us. We're now in your beautiful space. Do you work with a lot of nonprofits as well and in building community connections in the Tri-Cities?
We do. We work with our partners to put on programming, to support their programs in many ways, to sometimes doing collaborations with different groups to bring things.
Earlier you told me that you've been with the library since 2007.
That's right.
Right, that's a long time. We're in 2025 now.
Yeah.
So tell me about your journey, and has it always been in Coquitlam?
My journey started in 2007 when I became a librarian. I moved to the West Coast and I looked for on-call work and part-time work to start as a librarian. And one of the places that I started working was Coquitlam Public Library. It was also working at a number of other places. In 2009, I started full-time as a librarian. I mainly worked on the information desk, and I had some other responsibilities as well.
Right.
In 2016, I moved into management. I was the person that set up the marketing department at Coquitlam Public Library. It was the first time we had it. And then in 2021, I moved into the current role.
And do you love it?
Yeah, I love it. Like programming, especially programming.
Yeah,
right?
I bet.
That's all the fun stuff.
It is, it is. And seeing that program thrive and that people are signing up for it and coming. You know, one of my things, like since being a host with Tri-Cities Community TV and sort of, I call it straddling, like coming into this library and the Poirier Library, I'm always fascinated with libraries now. So my husband's an avid reader. We have 600, 700 books at home. Wow. He does library cards all the time and taking out books and everything. And but I always want to bring him to libraries because I feel like, oh, you need to come and check out this library. It's so beautiful. Look at the architecture. Like that's sort of like where my desire for libraries. I love structure and buildings and architecture and things like that. And so I'm fascinated with libraries and their programs that are coming in, just watching these moms with their children, you know, coming into story time with their little 18-month-old baby that's not getting it yet, but will get it. Like these nurturing programs that you're doing for, you know, young babies and all, probably with senior programming as well. Do you have senior programming here?
We have some senior programming. Not as much as maybe one would think because the senior centers are close to both of our libraries.
Yeah, they're busy.
We do a really booming Korean senior program.
Okay.
They come in every month, and there's like usually upwards of 30 to 50 people in the sessions.
So tell me, like, what do you see within the library space? You know, I come in and I see a lot of different people from all walks of life. They're on their laptops, they're working, they're tutoring, they're, you know, like, tell me a little bit about how change has happened since 2007 till now with people coming into libraries.
In 2007, I would say that Coquitlam Public Library was a very different place. There was a larger focus on the information desk, so people would come in with their questions. How do I find resources for this recent diagnosis? How do I, you know, I need some books. I'm doing story times, and I need some books about spiders. Like all these kinds of things that we would help them with at the desk. As the years have gone by, we know that Google has sort of taken over a lot of that, and people are often good at finding out their own answers. So in the library, it still is a very popular place that people come to. They like being here, they like studying here, they like getting out of the house. Places to live are small, so it gives them another space to be in. And sometimes being in a public space, you're more accountable than if you're just working at home and now I'm just gonna sit in my pajamas in front of the TV.
I know, yeah, it does give. So what are some of the reasons that people come here?
They come to use the space, but they also come for programming. They come to use some of the services at Poirier branch. We have a digitization station, so they can come in and digitize old media, VHS, slides, all of those things.
Yeah.
They come in, the students come in after school as a place to hang out.
Yeah.
It's good to be able to say to your parents, I'm going to the library after school. They come, as you mentioned, the story times, people come to the story times. They really like the story times. They're all quite popular.
Yeah, those are very full programs.
Right. And as you've suggested, to a wide range of people, like newcomers, people that have lived here all their lives, all ages.
Some people might feel intimidated by libraries. They don't know where to start. They're not sure like what a library can do for them. How can it help them? It's not only about just taking out a book.
That's right. It's not only about taking out a book. We sometimes get people from other countries who've grown up in other countries who come and they're amazed by what happens here. Because for one thing, we're not a quiet space. I think there's a stereotype that libraries are sort of book repositories with shushing librarians and you sit quietly kind of thing. We're not like that.
No.
We get complaints that there's too much noise in the library.
Yes.
We have quiet zones, but it's a lively place where people can come to interact with each other, meet new people. We have a library lounge at our Poirier branch, so it's full of games. People can come in there and use that space communally in whatever way they want.
Right.
Sometimes people study there, but it's not primarily a study space. It's for people to meet other members of the community.
So we talked about programming, we talked about community connections. What new programs are coming out? You showed me earlier some little exciting kind of gadgets. What do we have here and what are their names?
So we have these two gadgets here today. This is called the Yoto, and this Yoto is an audio device toy for children.
Okay.
You can insert a card into the slot,
right,
and it will tell a story, sing a song for you. It can also function as a radio or as a Bluetooth wireless speaker. So it gives children a chance to not be on screens, but to do some listening.
Right. And also I think this also helps kids that are not into the book itself, for example. You know, it's a child version of audiobooks. Like people are listening to audiobooks in their cars, on transit, things like that. Why did you guys bring something like this in? With our tech collection, we want to bring things to people that they may not be aware of and give them a chance to try things out. They may find that they just want to play with it for 2 weeks,
Or they may take it and then realize, yeah, we really like this. This is really good for our children. Let's get one for us.
Right, exactly.
It gives people a chance to demo their
Okay,
things.
and what about this little blue car?
And this little car is called the Sphero Indy.
Okay.
So we've had Spheros for years. Until now, they've been like a sphere and they roll around. They're a form of robot. This one is actually programmable with colored panels. So when you start the car and put it onto a colored panel, it will do something based on the panel.
Right.
So green means go, so it will go straight. Pink means turn left, so it will turn left. And purple means spin around and around. But there's several colors and they go all over the place and you can program the journey for the vehicle.
And what was the purpose of bringing this into the library for kids?
This is an early introduction into STEAM. So it's programming. It's actually programming. You can set up a journey, or a child can set up a journey for a car, which is similar to programming a journey on a computer.
And people can find this in the Discovery Lab right here at this library, correct?
People can find it in this Discovery Lab, but it's very likely that they will probably all be out, but you should be able to have a demo in the Discovery Lab.
And then they would have to reserve it like anything else.
Yeah, you can place it on hold.
What other things should we talk about today that we want our viewers to know about the library, Jay?
We should talk about the upcoming poetry event. So this is an after-hours poetry event taking place April 11th.
Okay.
You come it's a Friday night, you come, there's going to be poets, there's going to be open mic space, there's going to be mocktails, there's going to be refreshments, and it's going to be a really fun night celebrating poetry for International Poetry Month, which is April.
Which is in April. And sorry, did you say that was happening after hours, or when is that happening?
After hours. So
After
it
hours
starts at, I think it starts at 5,
Okay.
but the library's closed for
Yes,
everyone
yes.
else. So it's
Right.
also a chance to enjoy the library space in a different way.
Right. And do people have to buy tickets, or do they just show up?
It's a free event.
Oh, good.
And people are welcome to attend.
Okay, so April is Poetry Month.
Yes.
You're doing like a poetry, is it like a slam?
Well, there is some slamming. I mean, there's an open mic part, and then
Yeah.
there's poets will like,
Come and recite their poems?
published poets
Oh,
will
very
read
nice.
poetry.
That's lovely.
for
Good.
people.
So that's a program that you were involved in and putting together.
Yes.
Will you be here that night?
No, I'm going to be away. Otherwise, I would be here. It's our first one, and it may
Oh my
turn into
goodness.
an annual.
Yeah,
event
that's
as well.
fantastic. What else? What other updates do we have with the library?
I'd also like to talk about our speaker series, and this
Yes.
is taking place in June. We've run these for several years, where we bring in diverse voices from the community, and they talk to the audience. Questions can be asked. People can discuss topics that may be of interest, things like racism, bias, and just learning about other people and their experiences.
Okay.
So this year in June, we're going to have a LGBTQ plus theme, as well as the toxic drug supply theme.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
And everybody can find this type of information, upcoming events on your website.
That's right.
Is that coquitlamlibrary.ca?
It's coqlibrary.ca.
coqlibrary.ca.
Yes.
Great, good.
Yeah.
Any other words for our viewers?
I think that's enough, but we welcome you to the library. Come on in and have a look, and we'll see what we can do to help you.
Today we're talking to Jay Peters, the Manager of Programming and Community Connections. The job is quite large, I believe, and he does a lot here in Coquitlam at the Poirier Library and the one right here at Pine Tree. If you're looking for a special event or something out of the norm to attend, check out the library events at coqlibrary.ca. And until next time, I'm Cathy Cena. Thanks for watching.